You're looking the best as far as your career is concerned as of now.
How sweet. Well, thank you for your generosity.
No, I'm not being generous. A lot of people will conquer that.
People are very, very kind and very generous, and I keep, I mean, obviously, I should politely and in all humility say a thank you.
What really drove you to just do this film in the first place?
Get the right casting to come together to tell a story that's all heart. And the messaging can come across more strongly. Hello, this is Aishwarya Rai Bachchan and you're watching Bollywood Hungama.
Well, it's a huge privilege to have one and only one Aishwarya Rai Bachchan with us, and her fans have been waiting for this interview, and Aishwarya has finally given us time, and very, very considerate of her and her team.
No.
Pleasure having you back.
Pleasure is all mine. I know the scheduling gets always super hectic in those last couple of days pre-release,
Right.
but I had to speak to you. It's always
Thank
a
you very
pleasure, and you're so nice with me and to make me accessible to my well-wishers. So thank you so much.
No, anytime actually. In fact, because your fans have been just requesting for an interaction with you for a long time, and we've taken a few fan questions, and some of them are really interesting. So we'll come to them shortly. And Fanney Khan has just released, and people are just literally gushing over that how good you are looking. Mohabbat, especially, that when you are coming on stage, it's something else actually. You know, there's a perception that maybe you're looking the best as far as your career is concerned as of now.
How sweet. Well, thank you for your generosity.
No, I'm not being generous. A lot of people will conquer that.
People are very, very kind and very generous, and I keep, I mean, obviously, I should politely and in all humility say a thank you, very, very sincerely. But also, I think there's just so much love out there. I mean, people, I'm very, very blessed. I'm very, very blessed because there's just so much love. And, you know, I'm doing these, the last two outings have been like smaller duration in terms of screen time, and people have been like, I think they kind of very, very sweetly want more. So I wonder if that's kind of tinting the lens and and kind of making people even more generous about their compliments.
Right.
And well, that's my lighter way of looking at things. But sincerely, I'm very, very humbled by the love and very overwhelmed by people's very positive response to each of my few films that I have done recently, and really the way they embrace me. It inspires me to and excites me to do a lot more work.
Definitely. In fact, with regards to the duration of your role and the less film that you're doing, so there are some really interesting questions that are coming up. So we'll talk about them shortly.
Yeah.
And your fans want much more from you. Okay. And what really drove you to just do this film in the first place? In terms of, was it the idea of body shaming that you thought about, or maybe the fact that you've been presented very, very nicely as Baby Singh? The character is very, very interesting as well.
I'm very, very pleased by in the manner in which you framed your question, because the word that you've chosen, what drove you to do this? So I'm glad you recognize that there is interest, there is commitment for me to want to take on this role. It isn't just कि एक film आ गई, or you know कि चलो शायद इसमें गाना अच्छा रहेगा, like maybe there's a good song, or maybe that's why they present me well. No, I did feel strongly about being a part of a narrative like this, because I recognize the heart of the film. I recognize that this is a movie that has a big heart, that has messaging, and in a lighter vein. It didn't seem like it would get preachy. And so on script level, I felt here was an opportunity for the filmmaker to get the right casting to come together to tell a story that's all heart. And I could see why they would want to approach a star to play a star in the film, you know, because sometimes even for a new filmmaker, that's like, even Atul so candidly said, it could have just remained an aspiration. And you know, you can get anyone to play these play parts in a movie, but when it all comes together correctly, it becomes more believable for the viewer, and the messaging can come across more strongly. And kabhi-kabhi kya hota hai ki I feel a lot of actors can get wrapped up in the whole idea of choosing parts that you think only empower your stardom, and you keep playing into that track of choices. and hence sometimes do not make choices like these, because one tends to wonder whether, because it's not all about you, the story is not about all about your character, but your character is vital to the idea. And I have always been a bit different in the kind of choices. Anil has also told you, where he keeps laughing and he says कि कभी-कभी हम सोचते हैं कि ये picture छोड़ दी और ये कर ली. He says even I used to feel that with so many of your choices, but today when you chose to be a part of Fanney Khan, I was so happy. That's what he told me the other day. And I was like, yeah, it's that same girl, right, who makes these different choices. So I was happy to come on board to be part of the story, because when you have an established face in the audience's mind playing a part like Baby Singh, you kind of understand Lata's aspiration to want to become someone as established as that character, and you kind of get an insight into people's perception, you know. In a lighter vein, I'm not saying this is my story remotely, Baby Singh is not my story, but at the end of the day, you do through Baby Singh recognize how even in stardom, I mean basically she's Sumitra, but because of the system she had to embrace a name like Baby Singh, which did connect with the audience. तो अगर कभी-कभी लोग पूछते हैं भी कि भाई इन लोग नाम क्यों बदलते हैं, भाई connect तो हुआ. Now so what's the argument? You don't know what comes first, you know, the chicken or the egg. Like which way do you address it? Should you change your name? Should you not change your name? What's the argument here? You don't know. But on one level, Baby Singh connected. And even now, when people are talking in the interviews, they do not refer to my character as Sumitra. You refer to her as Baby Singh. That becomes the identity, you know. So there is identity that gets discussed. There is an insight, albeit brief, but you do get to see that she is also too much a part of the system. She wants to stay connected with her reality, lead a real normal life, because that could well have been her roots or her beginning. You get it only in one dialogue where she says, you know, when I was in the orphanage, that's where I had turned around and, you know, I used to sing there a little bit. Who would have thought that one day this is what my destiny would be? So you're getting an insight into what her roots may be. So she really somewhere wants to remain connected with reality. Maybe she always sought just basic affection, you know, and what her little things may have been within the system. There's a small, it's only in an expression where at one point she realizes after she's kidnapped how the system is exploiting her situation to make her song even a bigger hit. And they're releasing a video in earlier instead of, and she's thinking, oh my God, you're not out there looking for me. And it's just one expression, but it gives you an insight into her human life and her human side. And so it's not all about mere kitne scene hai, kitne dialogue hai. You're seeing how each character, getting insight into that one's life, into Adhir's life, where albeit this is what he is doing in his life. In one dialogue, you know, okay, he was a boy from Kashmir who probably would have wanted to pursue cricket. Maybe he's interested in cooking. In one scene, they say, I make the best chow mein. Maybe he feels I could actually have been a great chef, but he is working in a mill. That's his job. Different people have different lives. In his life, he would not have imagined that someone like Sumitra or Baby Singh would even cast a glance sideways to him. And how they connect as real people. And you never know what might happen in life and who's to judge. There's a character like Prashant, I mean it's all about Prashant, who so sweetly with his wife, I mean it's choti baatein hai, but at home she also calls him Fanney because he's happy to be recognized as this. He was an aspiring singer, but he's done this in his life. One scene where she calls him Prashant and he says, you've already distanced me. Now you're referring to me by my name and not Fanney. I mean little things like that, you know, happen in life, and I thought these are such sweet moments. These are not conventional, and yet it gives an insight into people's lives, homes. Even Lata's character, you know, she comes across as a girl with so much angst, but you never know where that's really stemming from. You know, people will discuss that she's being rude to her father quite extensively, but how do you know what may have psychologically made her like that and triggered her off to probably nahi to hasmukh hai. She's super confident. Now her confidence isn't seemingly deterred. So, but maybe it's manifested itself like this. How do you know? So that's where the whole discussion of, I mean, body shaming is not a singular subject. It is really about every individual's sense of self, every individual's self-esteem, and how at different phases of life actually you have to be able to find your connect your confidence to be who you really are to its full potential.
Definitely.
And it's nice when Barikis you'll try and see it in everything. And very honestly, I have not seen the original movie that this film is inspired from. And I remember wo pehli reading mein, when you know, they were all discussing and Anil was like, you know the film. And I said, I haven't seen it and I don't want to, because I want to react to only this script. I want to react to only these ideas, and I will give. So he said, actually fantastic, now don't see it, because whatever your contribution will be fresh, because you have no reference. And I said, I don't want to have any kind of referencing, you know, because I just want to react to this. What ideas I feel I want to bring to this, how I feel we can contribute to this. And so even if it is a small part, I'm all there. You know, I'm discussing it not just from my singular perspective, but from the perspective of the film. And I think as a team, we all get that. Getting Raj on board was fantastic, because Anil and Lata, you know, Pihu were already there. And for us all to come together, it kind of, I think just made it very, very creatively enthusiastic. We're a good enthusiastic team together.
Definitely.
Hello, this is Aishwarya Rai Bachchan and you're watching Bollywood Hungama.